Welcome back to World Talks on TVP World. I'm Aaron Darman. As Belarus announces it's released more political prisoners, questions still remain over the imprisonment of those voicing dissent against Alexander Lukashenko. 30 more prisoners incarcerated for their participation in democratic demonstrations have been pardoned by the country's head of state. But human rights activists are less than impressed that others are still in jail. Joining me now to discuss the matter is Anatol Kotau from the Forum of Democratic Forces of Belarus. Good morning, Anatol. Thank you for your time.
Morning.
Anatol, tell me first up, what is the significance of Alexander Lukashenko's recent pardons of individuals involved in those 2020 protests?
Actually, I can speculate, or more than speculate, because I'm sure that Lukashenko now is releasing political prisoners to prepare some room for maneuver in negotiations with the Western countries, because since 2020 he fell totally dependent on Russian ally, on Mr. Putin, and this is not a comfortable situation for him, because now he faces a big dilemma. Next year, probably in February or in early spring, there will be another electoral campaign, presidential, so-called presidential elections, and Lukashenko has a dilemma to step down or to participate in this process. In other words, to go for one more 5-year term. And this is not very welcomed by Russia. He promised to Mr. Putin in 2020 that this term would be his last one, and it will be impossible for him to survive if he if he annoys Putin next year, or actually at the end of this year, because electoral campaign should start several months in advance. So he will have to decide this year whether he is going to participate in this electoral campaign or not, and more likely not. But in order to also to have this balance between Russia and Western countries, he have to release prisoners, because before the prisoners released, Western countries, West European Union, United States, will be reluctant to talk to him.
The statement mentioned that those pardoned had, quote, repented and asked for clemency. What does this tell us about the conditions for receiving a pardon in Belarus?
Actually, it's some sort of specifics of Belarusian regime and Mr. Lukashenko himself. He wants and he insists that a person should should bargain for releasement for this pardon personally. So he just likes to play God, who is taking decisions on people's fate. So this is just something personal, because actually anybody could be pardoned without this special personal appeal to Lukashenko. But he wants to make to create an image that he is the one who decides personal fate of this or that particular person. So it's something about his psychology.
At a time of such great volatility in this region, how concerning is it to have a leader like Lukashenko who, in your words, likes to play God?
Um, Actually, it's really tough question because now we can see that Lukashenko and his the issue of his stepping down this or beginning of the next year is the result of his own policies. On the one hand, he is totally dependent on Russia, but on the other hand, he is not involved full-fledged in the Russian war against Ukraine. He has close ties with China, but he provokes instability on one of the main routes of Chinese transit to Europe. Belarus borders with European countries, and he tries to involve European Union or at least neighboring countries into some sort of dialogue, but he does it in very specific way. He provokes crisis, migration, or actually his involvement in war against Ukraine. It's also some sort of a crisis. People from different countries are also political prisoners in Belarus. Today we have heard that Japanese citizen was arrested. Andrei Pochobut is serving his unfair sentence in Belarus for almost 4 years by now. So Lukashenko during these 4 years has become common headache for all the stakeholders in the region. So I guess the pressure for him to step down now, he faces this pressure from all the sides, all of the sides, because he is the one who also contributes to this volatility in the region, and he is most unstable and unpredictable person on this chessboard.
And like you say, it's really important to note that there are still many political prisoners in Belarus despite these pardons. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those that are still there? So people like Andrei Pochobut, the husband of exiled Belarusian opposition leader Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya, or Maria Kolesnikova. Do we know what has happened to them?
Actually, unfortunately, we don't have too much information because they are kept. They are being kept in such conditions that there is extremely small, extremely narrow communication with for them with the outside world. Advocates are not allowed to visit such prisoners. The most dangerous for Lukashenko, I would say. It's also about Mykolai Statkevich, for whom it's really the third sentence. It's Severinets and many others who are being unfairly kept in drastic conditions, in inhumane conditions in Belarusian jails. And it's not only about that you are serving your term, that you are serving your term, but actually it's about the regime of so-called incommunicado with them. It's difficult to get information about their psychological and about their health stance, because regime doesn't allow even prisoners who are being kept together to communicate with such people. And we can only guess that they are really in bad psychological and health condition by now. So Maria Kolesnikova is one meter and almost 80 centimeters high, and now her weight is 47 kilos. So I don't know what to compare such conditions, which are really, people are suffering from tortures, they are suffering from starving, they are suffering from not receiving medical treatment. Many of them are seriously ill, were seriously ill even before they went to Belarusian jail. So I don't know, it's like German concentration camps during the Second World War, or Russian prisons for Ukrainian military right now.
It is a brutal reality, and these were people that went to democratic demonstrations, and it's always worth remembering that. I mean, they did nothing to deserve this, right?
For sure. It's a punishment, actually, for just a wish, for a will to decide on the future of the state during election campaign of 2020. And this is really sad that in the mere center of Europe in 21st century, we have thousands of political prisoners who are being kept only because they voted against dictator and lately went into the streets or made some public statements in social media that they are eager to defend their voices. This is really, I don't know, it's Northern Korea in the heart of Europe, and I guess European Union and United States should put more pressure and be more active in solving this crisis, which really undermines the European security and European stability.
Anatol Kotau from the Forum of Democratic Forces of Belarus. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
And that's World Talks on TVP World. I'm Aaron Darman. Goodbye for now.